Caroline from CertainlyCaroline.com. I'm doing little things in a big way by painting and sculpting a miniature fairy tale world. This week I'm painting the doll head that I sculpted in polymer clay last week. In case you missed the sculpting video, I'll put the link to that in the description below. I'll be using Genesis heat set paints, hobbyist cotton swabs, and very small paintbrushes. Here I'm blushing the doll's face, which just means I'm brushing in some flesh tone on some key areas, like the upper part of the forehead, around the eyes, on the interior of the eyes, on the cheeks, of course, and the nose, the chin, and the ears. Anywhere you might find more color on the face. And I go over the wet paint with a dry brush to feather that color off into the areas without paint. I like using Genesis heat set paints because they don't dry until I decide. You actually have to bake the paint to get it to set, which is really nice for feathering. I'm adding blue to the lips and around the eyes, and this gives a natural transparent look to the doll's skin. And here I'm feathering the blue color with a dry brush for a more natural look. Once I've painted in the whites of the eyes, I like to bake the head in the oven for about 5 minutes at 250 degrees. That way I can come in with the iris and not worry about the paint blending in. Make sure you buy an oven thermometer before attempting baking. Often ovens are inaccurate and it's very easy to burn polymer clay creations without an oven thermometer. I bought mine from Morsey Moore on eBay for about $10. An oven thermometer is absolutely essential for working with polymer clay and or Genesis heat set paints. So I chose blue for the iris color. Though I know the iris is always a perfect circle, I don't want to make a perfect circle on my doll's eyes because the lids are covering up the very top part of the iris. And I want the top part of the iris to be darker than the lower part because there's a shadow on the iris from the eyelid. It's also common for the rim of the iris to be darker, so I painted that. Here I'm pronouncing some areas more than others by adding black paint, then subduing it by rubbing some off. And I was careful not to put too much black paint on. But the Genesis paints are nice because I can just take off the paint if I make a mistake. Then have to hold my breath as I paint so I don't jiggle my piece since I usually work in a 1 to 12 scale. So I end up holding my breath a lot. Genesis Paint Thinner Medium is great for achieving a smooth consistency for fine detail work. And just to let you know, at a later stage, I super glue lashes on the lids for a more realistic look, and I'll go over how to do that in a future video. Genesis paints are somewhat pricey, so you may want to try them first before investing in them. I bought a trial set at Jerry's Artorama for a great price, and since a little goes a long way, a trial pack makes a lot of sense. Painting the pupil here. The pupil is actually a hole in the iris, which I think is just fabulous. It's always black. It's always a circle unless you're looking at it from the side, and it's always in the center of the iris. Adding striations in the iris here with a cotton swab. The paint, of course, is still wet because I haven't baked it, so I'm able to remove the blue paint with my pointy cotton swab, leaving perfect lines in a lighter blue color. Here I'm adding the reflection of the light source right into the pupil, which is always a fun way to end painting the eyes. The cotton swabs I'm talking about are not the kind that you put in your ears. They're nice and pointy, so they're great for detail work, and you can get them at a hobby store. I had already painted the lips blue, and now I'm adding another layer in a warmer hue. You'll want to avoid pure red unless that's the look you're going for. I'm using the same color that I used for blushing the face, mixed with just a tad of red. So here she is, all painted and with hair. Hey, thanks for watching. Next week I'll be going over some sculpting tips and tricks, so if you subscribe now, you won't miss that. If you hit the like button, that really helps me out too. I'm doing little things in a big way by painting and sculpting a miniature fairy tale world, so join me every Monday for a new miniature art video, and check out my website at CertainlyCaroline.com.